So last week we began the famous story of the lost princess, and we didn't get far. We got not even to the beginning of the sentence. We got to the first introductory idea that Rebbe Nachman puts across. And look, we learned that this story is the foundational story for all the other stories in a lot of ways. And so, we in the beginning of lesson 60, or in the middle of lesson 60, Dovid Mark, it's the introduction. Rebbe Nachman begins to talk about the fact that people are so asleep that they need stories to wake themselves up. And that we're in this sort of situation in the world, in the universe, that we are increasingly getting more and more into sleep as we get closer to the end of days. And we're in the end of days, so we get closer to the final curtain call, so to speak, of the giant story. And we talked about how stories themselves are really what reality is made up of. The Torah that we read, that we learn, is a set of stories built by the tzaddik, the ultimate tzaddik, which is Moshe Rabbeinu, and not built, it was given to him by Hashem, but he was the transfer of these constructions of the Torah, and they're a vehicle for the ultimate light, which is the Creator's light. And so the idea that there's a story is part and parcel of the foundational blueprint of the creation. So I'm just going to cover this again real quick. Because it's good to kind of recap. It to me, you can spend hours on this. I'm going to read it in English, and we're trying to speak about it in Hebrew a little bit. But just a recap real quick. Rebbe Nachman writes down that Rebbe Nachman said, or the Rebbe said, while on a journey, I told a story, and whoever heard it had thoughts of repentance. And we're just recapping.
Oh, great.
Recapping.
Oh, we're not late. We're late? We're early, right?
Oh, this is like a little behind. Don't worry about it. Time has no bearing sometimes. Don't worry about it. So, I'm just recapping the idea of a journey. The idea of a journey.
Are you rolling?
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Real good. It's very interesting. Actually, in the Hebrew, it says "Ana va'amar." He answered and he said, which means he was asked a question, but Rebbe Nachman never writes down what the question is. Yeah.
It just says that he answered.
Ana va'amar. He answered and he said. Recapping, because I think there's another point. I want to touch on another part of this, and I touch on it every once in a while, so I think it's important. And he says, now saying here, "V'derech siparti ma'aseh, shekol mi shehaya shum'ah haya lo hirhor tshuva." V'zuhi. He said in English, right? That on a journey, I told a story. V'derech. But it's important, the Hebrew here is important. Because, on a journey, I told a story, and whoever heard it had a thought of repentance. As I said, we spoke about this last week, but derech, that we're always on a derech. We're always on a journey. Derech. This whole world, our whole life started as a derech. As a journey. As a descent. A derech down, Rebbe Nachman teaches in Torah Vav and Lesson Vav, that in derech up. Right? Descent for the purpose of ascent. That's the idea. That you have to fall in order to pick yourself back up and get up again. That's the whole way the world is designed. That's what a derech is. And we understand that we learn in Torah Vav and Torah 6 of Dovid Mark that Rebbe Nachman says something very, very powerful. And it's a chiddush from him that you have to be an expert in falling and getting back up in this world. What's an expert in Hebrew? Baki. 2 times Baki equals derech. So the way to have a derech in this world, the way to find the lost princess, is you're going to fall and get back up. So Rebbe Nachman says, on a journey, I'm on this. What journey is he talking about? I said before, the journey to Eretz Israel. But ultimately, really, it's the journey of life. He's saying, my journey is, I'm also on a journey, man. And you're going to fall and you're going to get back up. And it's not going to be easy. And that's what this world's about, derech. To go on a derech to go on the derech. Sometimes it's just not going to be easy. And that this derech that you're on needs, and this is where the story comes in, you need to become empowered, you need to be strengthened on your derech. So when he says, B'derech siparti ma'aseh, shekol mi shehaya shomahaya lo hirar tshuva, meaning I was on the path, and when I said a story, everybody did this story, everybody did tshuva. Meaning sometimes, and oftentimes, life as the derech, as the journey, is very hard, and we need to be empowered and strengthened. And this is it. This is the story. So this is now we're going to get into the story. We're not going to get far today. We can go very fast if you want, but I think really the beginning part is quite powerful. It's all powerful, but I think it sets the tone for the rest of it. And I think I'm going to read it in English and we go back to the Hebrew. I'm going to do opposite what most people do, right? Because I want everybody to get an idea, even if we've read it before, to get a flow. So here's the story. There was a king who had 6 sons and 1 daughter. Now this daughter was very precious to him, showing her much affection and enjoying her company very much. The king had 6 sons. It's not so hard to figure out what these 6 sons are. 6 days, in one text, they're the 6 days of the week. And the daughter is the Sabbath, and she is the Shabbat. That's one layer. That's very clear what Rebbe Nachman is doing. And he had these 6 sons, and they were good, great. And then he got Shabbos. Kodesh Baruch Hu got Vayichulu and Shabbos. Shabbos Kodesh. And it's like, wow, this is amazing. It's Chaviv. Hebrew is called Chaviv. She was Chaviv. She was so precious. Because that's where like the real relationship takes place. She's real precious to him. And then another level, we know that Rebbe Nachman, we know what the early Breslovers understood the story from Rebbe Nachman. It's very clear that the princess on a variety of different levels equals Malchut. Because that's the 7th of the final 7th of all the Sfirot, kingship. And it's first the 6 sons of the 6 Sfirot or Midot, cosmic Midot of the Zeir Anpin, which is Chesed, Gevura, Tiferet, Netzach Hod Yesod. And then we have Malchut, kingship, which is the receiver of all those. So she's Chaviv, she's precious. Because she's the reflection, the expression of Hashem's Malchus to the world. That's kingship, what it should be like, when everything's in harmony. And so she's Chaviv, once again, precious. And another layer, she is prayer. Amunah. Because you can't have real prayer without Amunah. Right? Simple faith. If you have simple faith, you're going to speak to Kodesh Baruch Hu about all your problems. You know, Rebbe Nachman said, my entire inyan, my entire idea is just prayer. Right? Someone asked me, what's Breslov about? There's no such thing. I'm mad, there's no such thing. Rebbe Nachman said, I'm just prayer. I don't care if some person who's in office. I don't care if you're some person like working in a field, or a drug addict in New York, or some guy like selling a coal miner. Well, I'm just picking everybody, because if you can speak to Kodesh Baruch Hu in your own language, that's Rebbe Nachman is asking us to do, is have a simple, precious relationship with the Creator of the universe. So the princess is prayer, because the princess is the concept of prayer that brings us into a relationship with the Creator of the universe. That God didn't have to create the universe. When the Derech Hashem by the Ramchal says it very clearly, He created the universe in order to bestow goodness to another, i.e. to have a relationship with another person. That's what He wanted to have. He wanted to have that relationship with each one of us. And since the world's constantly being created, what Rebbe Nachman is saying, He wants to have a relationship. He wants us to find the princess within us in order to have us have a relationship with Him. No intermediaries. Nobody in between. One-on-one with the Creator of the universe. That's what's going on. And so something startling happens, and then we're going to go back and understand this even deeper. Something startling happens at the end of the story. Well, I'll read it in Hebrew a little bit because I think, this is a translation, and the Hebrew is like richer a little bit, I would say. Even though this is said in Yiddish in the beginning, but Hebrew brings it out a bit. She was like, he was more attached to her than the others. Mishashea is like played with her, was with her, hung out with her. So emunah, prayer, Malchus is there with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. You're in the room with Hashem. So Shabbos is like Gavaldik, because even if the kids are screaming, at the back of your head you're like, thank God, Shabbos. Even though it's crazy, like it's like still Shabbos, right? Like that's the Chav. So something crazy happens in the beginning of the story. It doesn't make much sense if you don't delve deeper into this. Because then the whole thing starts. Once though, while he was alone with her, on a certain day, he got angry with her and mindlessly said, "May the no good one take you away." That evening she went to her room, but in the morning she was nowhere to be found. Her father was extremely distressed and went to search for her all over. The king took the princess and sent her away. He sent the princess away. Hashem sent Emunah away. Hashem sent Malchus away. Right? He says, my Malchus is sent away. My prayer is sent away. It's hidden. So, in Torah lesson 64 in the Kutim and Rebbe Nachman, it's not a Chiddush what he's saying, but he quotes the Arizal about the creation of the world. And how it was necessary for Kodesh Baruch Hu to restrict himself, and Rebbe Nachman adds in Keviyachol, so to speak, because in Chassidus, without going to diverging too much, but there's a huge discussion between the Baal Shem Tov and the Vilna Gaon, who was opposed to Chassidus, about how what we call the Tzimtzum, let's say the Tzimtzum worked, how the restriction worked. So in Chassidus it's Keviyachol, so to speak, because it's really no restriction. Rebbe Nachman says in multiple places, Rebbe Nelson says it also, that it's like there's the before creation and after creation is the same. It's just we live in a paradigm which we're after creation. After creation means we conceive of it, we perceive it to be really separate. But that's in order just to have this relationship, right? So this whole thing going on in the beginning of the story is Samach Dalet, it's Torah 64, where in the beginning where Nachman says, out of Hashem's mercy, he restricted himself and made in a sense, what he's saying, he made the 6 sons and the 7th, the daughter. He restricted himself. Doesn't mean that you can't relate to Hashem. Just he restricted himself so there'd be a space to have a relationship with the Creator of the universe. And then Hashem did something even further. Even though it would break his kavod, he sent his Bat Melech, his princess, to the no good. The Sitra Achara, the Yetzer Hara, the bad midot, the bad character traits. The world became a broken mess. After the fall of Gan Eden. Or the breaking of the vessels in the beginning even. When the vessels couldn't contain what we call the Olam HaTohu, the world of chaos. Which is what the world was. The world was created in such a way that had high energy. And it fell and broke and shattered. And all these ideas we were talking about before, the concepts fell all over the universe. Into what we call now, what we live in, the Olam HaTikun, which is the world where we have to rectify. We're actually working to rectify. The famous Torah that Rebbe Nachman teaches in the Quran, lesson Hay, where he says, quotes Talmud and Sanhedrin, it's very famous in the beginning, he says, like we've said before, everybody has to believe the world was created only for them, and then he adds on in order to, when you see it lacking, to fix it. So what is this lacking? It's the princess being thrown to the no good. It's the space that now we are given to create our own story. We call it the Chalal Panui, the free space. You got to make a Chalal Panui, a free space where it appears to be that the world is 13 billion years old. It appears to be that Hashem's not running the show. It appears to be that the king has no interest in his daughter, or gets upset by her, tosses her off. And now we are sent into this world on the derech, on the way, in order to find the princess, in order to uplift it, in order to return the princess back to her original state where she fell from. The Lo Tov is this place of Sitra Achra, like I said. The Lo Tov is this place where, and we're going to find out when we get to the palace of the Lo Tov what's really going on. But it's just a little introduction. The Lo Tov is it's not Hitler, right? It's not the Satan, the hokey pokey Satan. No, it's not that at all. It's Amazon, right?
Rainforest or bookseller?
No, get whatever you want whenever
Get
you want.
whatever you want. Isn't this party good, man? Everything's there for you to get whenever you want it. And that's what's going on. That's the Lo Tov. The princess is found in all these things that are like just pulling us away from. She's trapped in that almost parveness of reality, where hey, this place is fun. I like it. Food's good here. Party's great. Everybody's inviting me in. You know, there's that famous debate when Napoleon was wanting to emancipate the Jews. The Baal Tanya was against it. He wanted to side with the Tsar. It's crazy. It's crazy. Why would you side with the Tsar? Because he said, listen, like, if you emancipate the Jews, they're going to fall into the situation where they're just going to be caught up in all the westernization and the Enlightenment, and they're going to forget about Amunah. And better to have a bad king, now we know we're different, than have the trick. The sleight of hand. I mean, how many times have all of us, like, oh, it's no big deal, who cares? What's the big deal? Just, go party out now. We forget about the Lost Princess. That we're all going after. We were all sent on this derech, this up and down crazy reality, this journey of life to find the Lost Princess. And we forgot about her 100%. So that's the Lo Tov is. And Hashem is creating, once again, a space for each of our stories to take place. Because my derech and your derech is not the same. Or I wouldn't be created, or you wouldn't be created. If we were saying that there's no, each one of us there's no one who has the same fingerprint, right? That's one, can correct me. I think we all have individual fingerprints. And so this concept that we're like, there's no two people that are alike. There's no two journeys that are alike. And so Hashem created this space where each one of us has to take up the mantle, or soon to see, to find the lost princess, to find the lost prince of our own lives, to get back to prayer, to get to Emunah, to get back to Shabbos, for real, not just like stam. Just like wait for the Shabbos to end to see the soccer game. I think you guys were saying that last week to me. It was very nice. It was very nice. I think that's 100% what's going on. Well, it's not just about Shabbos. It's not about like, oh, I'm not doing anything. I'm cool. No, it's like, do we really get Shabbos? Do we really get Shabbos? So what happens?
So what's the answer?
Which one? To what?
Do you really get Shabbos?
I don't know. It's hard. But that's the journey. That's the journey. The journey is, do we really, like, now we have to find the lost princess. The lost princess is part of this all Shabbos. Or Shabbos gives us a taste of what the princess is. And sometimes we're almost there, we always find her, and then we lose it again, we fall asleep. That's the whole thing. Seeing how distressed the king was, the viceroy approached and requested to be given a servant, a horse, and expense money. And he set out to seek her. He sought her for a very long time until he found her. Wow, the story's done. Huh? Story's done. I love this part. Now the Rebbe tells how he sought her until he found her. Don't worry about it. You get to the princess at the end. Get to the princess at the end. Oh, I want to finish the last section up with when the king is looking for her. It says, Halach levakasha ana va'ana. He went to seek her here and here, all over the place, but he can't find her anywhere. The world is so closed off to spirituality. It's so closed off to God awareness that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is looking for us. Ayeka in Gan Eden, right? When they sin, Ayeka, where are you?
Hashem saying to them.
Yeah, where are you? He knows where he is, but where are you? Where are you? Like, where are you holding, dude? That's he looked at her. Where are you? Where's the lost princess? Where you buried her? So I just want to finish that. But yeah, so now the viceroy. Who's the viceroy?
Us. Israel. But us. Each one of us.
Shit. No, they're all good answers. They're all correct answers. Well, there's always layers. Right? There's layers upon layers upon layers. So Sheni L'Malchut in Hebrew. There's a very famous line. Amad Hasheni L'Malchut. So the second in command, the second in charge of the kingdom, stands up. What's Sheni? In Hebrew, Shesham. What's Hebrew? Shorshe Neshamot Yisrael. It's the Rosh Tevot of the root souls of Am Yisrael. Sheni L'Malchut is each one of us. Each one of us. And who, on a whole different level, it's also the tzaddik. There's a very deep Indian here. That's why Rebbe Nachman teaches there's a fragment of the tzaddik in each one of us. Because we have the opportunity also to be like the tzaddik. Not that he's like one guy and he's just like, we don't do anything, he does it all. We don't believe in that. Right? We don't believe in that. In fact, we understand that Rebbe Nachman oftentimes took himself out and let his students figure their own path out. It's very powerful. That's not a typical Hasidic thing to do. But that's what he did. He wanted them to develop themselves. Like create divine space for them to like pull, to actually work through. It says, Amada Sheni L'Malchut. Sheni here is each one of us, and the tzaddik who's the repository of all the souls of Israel. He's an access point to all the souls of Israel. In fact, in the first Torah and the second half of Likutei Moharan, Rebbe Nachman says something very powerful. That we understand that Yaakov Avinu controlled malachim, controlled angels. So Rebbe Nachman says, how does someone control angels? Because he goes, that's the purpose of each person in Am Yisrael, to get to the level where they can control angels. But how do you do it? You have to be a type of person to be in touch with all the root souls of all of Am Yisrael, i.e. the tzaddik. So it's just not, See, so the tzaddik here, on one hand, it's the 600,000 souls of Am Yisrael, of Knesset Yisrael. It's not just each, a soul is more than a person. A soul is, we're soul fragments, really. Souls are like channels from the ultimate light that gets repackaged here. So the tzaddik is like the repository of that. He actually is tapped into each one. And so on one hand, it's Knesset Yisrael. It's our journey here to actually find the lost princess as a nation. And it's also the tzaddik's journey. It's the tzaddik's role also to do this. And it's also in our own Dalet, our own 4 amot, our individual space, our individual journeys, since we have a fragment of the tzaddik within us. What's the tzaddik? The guide, right? The tzaddik is the thing which is more than just a person at this point. It's we call it nigun. It's a melody itself. You can say that the tzaddik became a melody. He got so in touch with the melody of the universe that he became the melody. So it's up to us to attach that melody to discover our own melody. And so we are here also to, in our own individual space, to push forward and find the lost princess. So he stands up because he sees the king is very pained. He sees the king is very pained. He sees the king wants the lost princess back. And it's that moment in our lives where we say, okay, I don't let you down, God. That's the switch over. Like, you sent me down here, I don't want to let you go. I don't want to let you down. I yearn for a real connection. I yearn for a real connection. Our souls came from the world of Amunah. Our soul, like, that's the highest connection there is, and then we come down here and we just forget it. And then there's that point in time we go, hey, wait, this doesn't feel right. I really should try to get back to where I was before I came down, before I was released from the Kisei HaKavod. And so he goes, listen, the king is really upset. My father's upset. Right? That's Hashem. My father's upset. And he wants me to go on this journey to find a lost princess, to find my faith, to find my prayer, to get into Shabbos mode. He can bring Geula like that, but he wants me to do it. He wants me to do it. He wants me to connect. He wants me to come back. And this journey is going to be very, very hard. It's going to be very painful because you have to let go of those things which we think are us, which the world tells us is us. And that's going to require ups and downs, and to try a lot of falling asleep and waking up. But he wants to make his father, want to make his king, want to make the king, we want to make our king happy again. We want to get to that point where we at least have authentic prayer, where the conversation between us and the creator of the universe is real. That's the beginning. That's the actual stage where, hey, listen, I'm getting in touch with the princess. It doesn't mean that you found her, but it means that that's on the way. We're going to finish up. In this segment here. At least we're not going to go further today. In terms of after this next statement, Bikesh yitnu lo misharet. He sought. He requested that he be given a helper, a servant, a horse, and money. Ma'ot ahotzaot, money for his expenditures. V'halach l'vakasha, and he went out to find her. This is going to take, this segment, so that's why I use this little sentence here. It seems just like a passive sentence. But it's very, very important because we each have to understand these are tools in our journey. So it's going to take a little time to explain. That's why I want to spend some time with this. So, I don't know how many times everybody here has had this thought, or someone said, hey, what do you talk about when you speak to God? Everybody's hey, I want world peace. I want the Shekhinah. I want, woo. We know that Rebbe Nachman said, that's very nice, but you should feel free to ask about anything you need. Why? Because that means it's real. Even if you need a new shoe, it's the famous one. I thought shoes were tough, sometimes hard to come by. Now I can just find them in a store. Now we want the money for the shoe.
We did that. We did that. Happened to us the other day.
We lost the shoe?
Eggs, really needed some comfortable shoes on the journey. Important.
So what we see here is that this in our task, in our derech, in our journey, we have to ask Hashem for help. Because you sent me on this journey. You sent me into this world that looks so messed up. I was here. I was happy. We discussed. I was so happy before. And now you sent me down here, into the free space. In this space, I can't even see if you're really here or not. Unless it's really dark outside, no one else is around, and I kind of have that quiet feeling that there's a melody out there that I heard before. And I heard that back in the time before I came down. And so he goes, the Viceroy, the second in command, he says, listen, Tati, my Abba, my king, I need some help. I need some help. You know, like they say, like, you know, you shouldn't ask to be rich when you're talking to God, because God's like, what? You don't like what I've given you so far? But you can ask for help on your journey. Like, I want Parnasa, because I know Parnasa, I know Yeshua Das. I have no time to contemplate anything. Running around, left, right, up and down, what are you crazy? No Parnasa, no Shalom Bias. No Parnasa, no, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't want to be rich. I'm not looking to be rich, God. But I need help on this journey. I need a place to live in Eretz Israel. It takes time sometimes to get to people. Right? But that's, you know, hey, come on. Come on. And so he asked him, he said, I need help on this journey. It's going to be hard. I need help. And what does he ask for? Misharet, asus, and money. A servant. So most people say the servant here means body. That right now we've had the Viceroy in a lot of ways is the soul saying, I'm ready to go down into that world, into the depths of creation, where there are no good rules, where it's scary, and I don't know left from right, up and down. I'm willing to go down there. You're sending me down there anyway, right? I'm willing to go down there, but I need an ishara, I need a goof, I need a body that's going to carry me through this situation. And I need to get around, that's the sus. And then my ability to move through the journey. And this is the most interesting part, I think, because we're going to get to money later on, at the end. But here, we have parnasa, ma'ot, money. You know, there's this emphasis in life where we're like, you know, hey, to serve Kodesh Baruch Hu, we shouldn't have any parnasa. So we have to be some sort of like a priest on the side of the hill. There's a lot of people like, oh, that's you know, whatever, not like, you know, I don't want to this or that. My dude is just like, you know, I want to be a good Stark learner or whatever it is. Like, there's nothing wrong with asking for parnasa, like we were just saying before, in order to serve Hashem. That's what Rebbe Nachman saying that. The soul says, listen, it's the world down there uses mammon. The world down there uses mammon, money. I have to have a parnasa to make this thing work. Not just a parnasa, but kavod, an honorable parnasa. For all of his expenditures. He doesn't ask, I need money to be rich. The money here is a tool for his expenditures. Because the worst thing, and the thing that drives everything in exile, is the desire to have money. Ta'avat mammon. The uncontrollable urge to run after money. And the soul, in the goof, in the body, gets caught up in it. Because it's the ultimate avodah zarah, is money. This drive to earn. To make your quarterly report. To get more and more cash. And you just fall into it. You're like, hey, I'm lost. And we understand that a Taivat Mammon is a form, as I said, form of Avodah Zarah. Form of Avodah Zarah. And the people that fall into the darkness, they lose the trust in the Kodesh Baruch Hu, because who gives us parnasa? Hashem, right? So they lose. And they become very sad because they don't know why it's not working out, or even though they have a lot of money, they're so swept up with, oh, wow, I did it, that deep down in core is they're sad. Because they still can't be fulfilled by it. Because there's nothing to it, it's just a mirage. It's just a currency to be used here in this world. You can't take it back with you. This is the most, it's a small sentence, but it really shows us how we function here in this world, in this free space. And we go, listen, I need these tools. If I don't have these tools, I don't have anything. I can't get the princess back without real active tools in the world, in Olam Hazeh, in the world that's created. Created tools. And so, unfortunately, there's an emphasis to ignore these tools. And not to go to just a side point, there's a lot of, dare I say, correlation between certain things, I've just said this before, in cosmological things between certain Zen Buddhist ideas and Hasidus. We understand that. We understand the idea of having layers and removing layers to get in touch with oneness is also very found in Eastern religion. But where's the difference between that? That's this point here. That it's okay to use the physical things in this world to uplift them to the Creator in order for us to uncover where the princess is. And they don't believe that. They believe just remove everything. Don't get caught up in the Misharet, the Sus, and the Me'ot. Those three things that are tools down here. Just escape. We want to get back to the Tati. We want to get back to our Kodesh Baruch Hu. We have to. And so we recognize, but really it's all just a mirage. And so we have to uplift that part of the mirage in order to find the sparks in it, in order to find the princess. And we recognize, and the Shema says, listen, I'm coming down here, I have to have these things. Have to have these things. So I'm going to end there. Yeah, this is the right time. That's way behind.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
I thought we were early.
No. that's behind. And next week we're going to move on into the actual beginning of the search itself, and we'll get there. Please God Almighty, and we should all have a blessed Shabbos. Have the princess on Shabbos.
Amen.
The princess Shabbos. Blessed Shabbos.